Hello everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Glynn County Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. The time is 2:00 p.m. Commissioners, we're going to start. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
No, sir. I make a recommendation that we accept the agenda as printed.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded that we accept the agenda as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a recommendation that we approve the items on the consent agenda except for any item a commissioner or anyone wishes to pull.
Second.
All right. There's no discussion of pulling the items. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Those who have items on the consent agenda, you can leave if you want. Don't have to stay. All right. General business, item 17, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners authorize county personnel to initiate the process to develop specifications and scope of work and issue invitations for bids to repair and resurface the Northward Estates tennis courts with District 3 capital allocation as the intended funding source. Ms. Gorganis.
Is Lisa joining us via Teams? If not, Mr. Chairman, this is a project out at Northward Estates, part of the designated funds allocated by district, and this is a project that I consented to allow my allocation to be used toward.
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
I move to recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize county personnel to initiate the process to develop specifications, scope of work, and issue invitations for bids to repair and resurface the Northwood Estates tennis courts with District 3 capital allocation as intended funding source.
Second.
Item 17 has been motioned and properly second to be approved as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 18, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award the contract for the engineering services for the Chapel Crossing Drainage FY22 project to G-Whiz LLC with funding in the amount of $175,000, which includes $147,000 bid plus 19% contingency. From the Splosh 2016 drainage projects, Chapel Crossing Road Drainage Improvement Project. Pam. Okay.
Commissioners, I know they were just in a meeting down the hall. I'll go see.
I'll see if she's in, sir. They were in a meeting with the attorney, county attorney, Dave.
Let's see here.
This is a SPLOST 16 project.
And this was one of the agreements we needed with Fletzy to go on to their property for drainage to go through.
Yes, and Commissioner, we met when I was in my last role, and that has been taken care of, so let's see, we'll move forward as needed.
Okay. I can't click on this report for some reason.
I'm clicking on it, but it's not pulling up the scope of work or anything.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, she's on the way.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you want to take it else?
Yeah. Commissioners, I'm going to take item number 18 as the, if that's okay.
Sure.
This is item number 18 is the award a design contract with consultant for the SPLOST 2016 project that involves connecting the county's drainage system through Fletzy's drainage system out on Chapel Crossing Road. We had taken that out for open bid, received one bid. GWES, a local engineering firm with a local office here, was the respondent. On the item, their bid request, our bid total was $147,000 for the project. That includes design, permitting, coordination, and monitoring construction. The request before you is to award that bid with a contingency on it. That would be, we'd get into the contingency at the county manager's approval.
Paul, you
If
only
we
had
need to.
one bid?
Yes, sir, we sure did. I will tell you that working on the federal installation and with the permitting requirements that go with that may have been a limiting factor to what firms felt interested in responding to that. That's the reason being is there's permitting requirements that are outside of the county's norm once we get onto the federal property.
What kind of permitting?
The federal installation operates under what they call a NEPA permit that needs to be updated to include work like this, and that involves a relatively large permitting effort. GWS has one of their employees who is familiar with that process, and they feel like they can handle that without too much trouble.
Well, there's other things that come in play too, so background checks, criminal histories, that type of thing, just to get onto FLETCs. Sometimes I believe that
Absolutely
steers some of the contractors away. And then COVID requirements. There are some COVID requirements that they have, although this is outside work, so it really shouldn't be a consideration.
But this is just the engineering of the project, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir. That'll take it from where that big ditch turns by the car detailer all the way down through Highway 17 bridge, through down Chapel crossing through the FLETC property and out improvements all the way to the Highway 17 bridge to allow for there to be drainage with no issues. This improvement with no issues to the impacts to the FLETC system.
And this is just the design, this isn't the work?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
What's the work gonna cost?
Millions. I mean, why wouldn't? I don't like sole source
I don't either.
bidding, but under these circumstances, I'll go ahead and make a recommendation that we recommend the Board of Commissioners approve the contract for engineering services for the Chapel Crossing drainage FY22 budget for GWES LLC with funding in the amount of $175,000. Of that, $147,000 is the bid and a 19% contingency from the SPLOST 2016 drainage project, Chapel Crossing Road Drainage Improvement Project.
Second.
Item 18 has been motioned and properly second to be approved as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, item 19, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners authorize staff to reimburse the City of Brunswick for resurfacing the Glynn County portion of Habersham Street from Community Road to the city-county boundary past Newman's Drive, and approve funding to be provided by SPLOST 2016 unallocated funds with a not-to-exceed amount of $93,093. Mr. Austin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for having the consent agenda. We just threw us off course. I don't like that. We work closely with the folks at Brunswick and the City of Brunswick, and Garrow and his folks at Engineering and Public Works, and they're going to take care of Habersham, and this is our slice of it. And so they awarded the contract a month or two ago to East Coast Asphalt. We've been talking to him for a few months, and he told us when we were ready. I said, well, we'll take it to finance and get our slice of the money. And we did our estimates as far as his price and what we would be paying for it, and we believe it's a fair cost. And we recommend that you award that so that we can, he can do that. A lot of times we do little sections of roads and we just kind of wash that, but this is a $93,000 and it's a case where we need to pay them for the effort.
Commissioners, any questions?
When are they gonna start that project?
That's a good question. I'll have to get back with you on that. So I think he was talking June or July, maybe July. I'll have to get back with you on the exact. And of course, you know, they're doing a series of roads, so they may start in some area and it may take a while. But I'll find out.
Roughly how much road that?
Roughly how much road? It's 462 tons. The surface area. I got it by tons. It's let's see.
Quarter of a mile? Half a mile?
I'd have to scale, but it's from just below Newman up to Community. So you should have a map with your notes, and it's, you know, here's Newman, here's Community, and here's Newman. So it's
Yeah, I mean, I know where it is. I live over there. So,
All right.
you know,
Ready?
I've been pushing them to do this for a while.
Well, it's pretty bumpy. Ready?
Yes.
I recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize staff to reimburse the City of Brunswick for resurfacing the Glynn County portion of Habersham Street from Community Road to the city/county boundary past Newman Drive, and approve funding to be provided by SPLOST 2016 unallocated funds with an amount not to exceed $93,093.
Second.
Item 19 has been motioned and properly seconded to be approved as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Item 20, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve funding to Georgia DNR to allow for the award of the Village Creek Landing Boat Ramp project in the amount of $50,000, with funding to be provided by the Capital Fund Allocation for at-large post number 1. Mr. Austin.
So about a year ago, we met down at Village Creek Landing with DNR. They hired EMC to design and fix this boat ramp. If you've ever been out to this boat ramp, it has ankle twister type concrete teeth there that you have to navigate to get your boat in the water. And it's in definite need of repair and refurbishment. And so they designed it. We reviewed it. I reviewed it to my David DeLoach, who I sent it to guys that operate boats a lot, David DeLoach, and also Paul Andrews, who often drops his boat in the water here or slips his boat in the water here. And they looked at it and provided comments back to DNR. DNR bid it out, and it came in a little higher than the money that they had. And so we went to a couple of commissioners and said, look, you know, we could do this whole thing if you gave us a little extra money. And at that time, Commissioner Fendig and Commissioner, our Chairman Quinn agreed and gave us $50,000. And so because we wanted to actually do the whole thing instead of paring down something and not getting what you want. And so it's actually a good deal for us. For $50,000, we get a new boat ramp, and then the follow-on year, our part of it is to work on the parking section on the other side. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. And it has been approved by the Corps of Engineers, which took a little while.
And now, are you saying Commissioner Fendig is helping out with this? Or is just
Well, you know, he spent all his money, so he's supporting it. In spirit, yes, sir. Not by the pocketbook.
How many cups of coffee does that buy?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Commissioners?
You have any questions, Walt? I recommend the Board of Commissioners approve funding to Georgia DNR to allow for the award of the Village Creek Landing Boat Ramp project in the amount of $50,000, with funding to be provided by the Capital Fund Allocation for at-large post 1.
Second.
Item 20 has been motioned and properly second to be approved as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Item 21, consider recommending Board of Commissioners authorize staff to solicit quotes for Gascon Bluff Park pier repair with funding provided by capital fund allocation for at-large post number 1.
So we noticed some problems at the Gascon Bluff pier, and we sent a contractor out there to give us a cost. He gave us a cost, and we've asked for some money to fix that. And so this will be ample money to fix that and get that up to repair. We've got some boards falling off. As you know, these piers kind of take a beating out there.
Who's doing the work, Dave?
Well, we haven't decided that yet. I've got to, we may bid that out, or we may get two more bids. But I've just got a one bid from the guy that did Blythe Island, because he was on station.
The
And so,
50,000 will do it.
his estimate was lower than that.
I recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize staff to solicit quotes for Gascon Bluff Park pier repair with funding provided by capital fund allocation for at-large post 1. Excuse me.
Second.
Item 21 has been motioned and properly second to be approved as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Item 22, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award the generator grant project to Boyd Electric Inc. of Blackshear, Georgia, in the amount of $143,524.48, with funding to be provided by the GEMA generator grant, pending GEMA approval and a 10% local match funded by FY23 operating budget.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So this is another Monica Harden success story. She got us this money for the GEMA grant. We've been working at this thing probably a year and a half. I think we actually slipped into another GEMA year. And then when Dave Carver got on board, he grabbed this one by the horns and worked the last bit of technical stuff that we needed to go to make sure the generators were sized and located and fueled properly. And he was instrumental in doing all the work to making sure the pre-bid and contractors were bidding on the right thing, right scope of work. And so with this generator project, we'll get 3 generators, one at fire maintenance, one at fleet, and one at public works and traffic. And the other piece of that is we will use this successful approach here to work and fix the ones at the fire stations, because we've got some work to do at the fire stations.
Okay, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the Board of Commissioners award the generator grant project to Boyd Electric Inc. of Blackshear, Georgia, in the amount of $143,524.48, with funding to be provided by the GEMA generator grant, pending GEMA approval, and a 10% local match funded by the FY23 operating budget.
Second.
Item 22 has been motioned and properly second to be approved as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Anything that doesn't need to be on consent?
Not that I see.
I don't either. All right. Well, is that a record?
I think that might be a record.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned. All in favor? All right.